Ultrawides are widely considered an essential tool for increasing productivity at your workspace. They deliver an experience that just cannot be rivaled by two single monitors next to each other. For the past 2 years, I've been using a curved super ultrawide monitor from Samsung called the CJ89. This monitor has allowed me to be even more efficient in my workflow, and the specs of it allow me to enjoy my games at high refresh rates. Today, I'm going to go through what it's like to use an ultrawide as your main monitor over a long period of time, and what are the advantages and what are the drawbacks of it, and hopefully help you make a choice if you're thinking about picking one of these up. If you would like to see a more in-depth look at this monitor and its specs, I do have a video on my channel which I'll link above. With that said, let's get into the video. So to begin with, why did I buy this monitor in the first place? What drew me to this monitor? Well, to be honest, previously, before I had this, I was using two of the most basic ASUS monitors that you could buy. I actually still use one of them as my overhead display. I usually just have Spotify or Discord up there though, so I don't need anything too dramatic. So I knew I needed an upgrade. I landed on this as I was in the process of starting my second year in university, so I may as well buy a monitor that'll benefit me in both being productive with university work and still be suitable for gaming. And with the current situation in the world, having all of this screen space has really made the whole working from home thing a lot easier. Like when I'm on Zoom calls and people are complaining about having to try and switch between different tabs on their laptops. It's definitely been an advantage to have this while I've been working from home. So which type of ultrawide is right for you? There are actually a few different sizes of ultrawide that are available on the market. Some are bigger than this, some are smaller than this. Samsung actually do a 49-inch version of this monitor if you do need more space. But if 43 inches is still too big, there are quite a lot of nice options that are around 29 to 34 inches. So they come in all shapes and sizes. So arguably the main reason for an ultrawide is to speed up your productivity. I would recommend a display manager if you're looking to pick up an ultrawide. These allow you to set keybinds on your keyboard to instantly move windows around, helping you to become more efficient in your workflow, as well as helping me to become more efficient with a number of different windows open at the same time. Some programs work very well with ultrawides. For example, I didn't buy the ultrawide with the intention of editing videos on it. However, as I'm getting more and more into editing videos, the increased screen space allows me to view such a large majority of my timeline all at once. I really don't think that I'd be able to do it on just a standard sized monitor. My final note on productivity is that a lot of ultrawides are made specifically with creative work in mind. Pretty high colour accuracy, great viewing angles, and a few little extras. For example, on this one, I can connect my PC with a DisplayPort, and I can connect my MacBook Pro with a USB-C, and I can display both screens at the same time. So it's handy little features like that just make such a huge difference when you can put them to good use. So onto my other main use of this monitor, gaming. Providing your graphics card can handle it, I actually think an ultrawide is an excellent way of increasing immersion while gaming. Open world games like Cyberpunk feel epic. You actually feel like you're surrounded by those monolithic skyscrapers of Night City. While in games like Warzone, a wide screen like this allows you to see so much more, and you can spot enemies in the distance that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to see. It seems like an unfair advantage on everyone else. To be brutally honest though, when I feel like getting a little bit sweaty and competitive, I do find myself lowering the aspect ratio if possible, or even going into a windowed mode with a black background, just so I have a smaller screen to concentrate more on. But the high refresh rate of this monitor does definitely give me a noticeable improvement over my previous monitors, but that's obviously not limited to ultrawides. Standard size monitors can often beat out ultrawides in the refresh rate department. 144Hz is available on most modern ultrawides now these days. This one is actually only 120Hz, but it's definitely a noticeable improvement over the 60Hz monitors I was using before. Of course, there's always something to be said about how clean they look, especially if you get a curved one like this. It's always the main thing that you look at. So at the beginning, I mentioned there were drawbacks, and you might be thinking, what could possibly be a drawback? It sounds great so far. Well, for the most part, it is great, but there are a few specific applications where it can be a little bit of a pain. For example, around the time I got this monitor, I used to stream on Twitch. When I had my two standard size monitors, it was easy. Could play a game on one, monitor stream stats on the other. But with just one ultrawide, it can get a little bit much, trying to play a game that should be played on full screen, and also trying to monitor stream stats and chat. It isn't impossible, people definitely do it, but it's a lot easier to do with just two single monitors, and it can be a little bit of a pain to set up on an ultrawide. As well as that, on a monitor this big, sometimes games just aren't meant to be played on a screen this wide, and it can actually look a little bit weird sometimes. The first game that comes to mind is PUBG. About half of your character gets cut off, and it just seems a little bit funny to me, and I don't really enjoy playing on it on the ultrawide. And finally, the price. With such big monitors, with some of the functions and features mentioned earlier, there comes a price to match that. Usually costing well over £500, it can get quite expensive when you're about to step into that ultra-wide life. I will post a few different types of ultra-wide in a range of different sizes down below that I would recommend looking at if you're thinking about picking one up. As well as that, if you're also looking at picking one up, there's often ultra-wides to be found on the second-hand market like eBay. That could help you save some money as well if you're thinking about picking one up. So, are they right for you? Only you could tell, to be honest. If you think that the features that I've mentioned could help you and benefit your workflow or gaming, then I would definitely recommend one. If you're simply looking at a monitor just for gaming and watching YouTube, then maybe your monitor can be put to better use by a higher spec, smaller screen, or even two. It really does depend on your use case. But with that being said, I hope you found this useful, and let me know down below if you have an ultrawide or you're thinking about picking one up. I want to thank you for watching this video to the end, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.